I know in the last video I said I was gonna do like 2 videos. I was gonna put like both tutorials in like that one long video, but it was gonna be way too long, and it was already like 1 in the morning or something like that. But this is the part 2 of the tutorial, and thank you for all the love and support on Instagram. You guys are awesome. And I'll try to respond to most of the comments and all the messages I get. But this is a tutorial on the second render, all 3 scenes of YUKKURI City. So here we go. Now for the next render that I had people requesting was YUKKURI City. This one took a while. It took like I think a month to do. But I wanted to kind of give a little bit more story to this one. It starts off on the street level, and then the camera looks up at a building, and it's supposed to kind of give this idea that the person behind the camera is going to go up this building and onto the roof. Then going into one of the floors in the building, going to the emergency stairway. I think it's floor 29 actually. And then the final magnum opus part was the camera flying over the city. This one, yeah, like I said, for all 3 scenes took me around a month to do. All right, there we go. It took a billion years to finally load up the project file, but this is everything. I think this is missing a texture. I don't remember what this texture was. I'm pretty sure it was really just a plane of a city that I found online. But for this first so when I opened up this project, the first thing I did was made a blockout, and I wanted the camera to be walking and then looking up the building, and that was really just about it. I made blockouts of the side of the streets and made this area open. And again, I think the only one that's mine, I think the only building that's mine is this one right here. And then these buildings are from Lazaro right here. And then some of these buildings are actually from Max Hayward. Shout out to him as well. These are from his free buildings pack on YouTube. You can go look that up. And then for these lower buildings down here, to kind of combine them, these are Kit Bash buildings. I bought the Cyberunk one a while ago. And it's one of my favorite packs. Love using it. I carefully placed all the buildings I wanted. Like this one right here. I think this one is supposed to fill in like, yeah, this back area right here. I think I used these signs. These signs right here are an add-on called Procedural signs. And this add-on is really cool because there's a whole bunch of different selections of signs that you can use. But for this one, I think it was really just an LED sign, the one I used for this one. And the customization with this add-on is really cool. It actually moves with it, which is really sick. You can make the text whatever you want. You can change the color to whatever you want. LED strength, you can get super bright if you wanted. But it's a great add-on for making signs like these. And then this sign right here is just from the Pexels website right here. This was also made using the Procedural signs add-on. I used, I think, the neon sign. Yeah, I used neon sign. And then these signs right here I found online. I think a while ago I just typed in future funk like billboards or ads on Google, and there's a whole selection of some that you can use. These ones are just from Cyberpunk 2077, the game. I looked up Cyberpunk 2077 billboards or ads, and I found a whole selection of them. So these are really nice to use. I made this one using the billboard option on Procedural signs, and it gave it a little blue tint, and it looked pretty nice there. And then this right here, I forgot where I found this from. I think I looked up on YouTube like abstract like lights moving or something like that, and it gave me like these cool like moving purple blue lights. It looks good for a background scene because it gives it kind of this glowing moving effect right here. You can see that. And then the last billboard is just again found from pexels.com, and this also from the same website. Just type in like Cyberpunk girl, and you just see her moving back here right there. Yeah, that's that. And then these right here, I kind of wanted to have, you know, like giant pipes just moving through the city for that dystopian look. So for these pipes, I modeled just a really simple pipe here, like really low poly. You can see that. With using Control R, gave it a loop cut, and then using Control B, gave it a bevel, and then using Alt E and clicking the extrude along faces made it go inwards to kind of give it that indent. And that's what I did for those right there to give it that little extra oomph detail. And then the texture itself was really just, I think, a pipe texture. Actually, I'm wrong. It was actually just a metal texture. This one here I found from textures.com. By the way, textures.com, I absolutely love this website. This website is so good for getting any kind of textures, image planes, or anything like that. Really great website. I'm subscribed to them. Really awesome. And then after I got the simple pipe made, I made a Bezier curve, kind of just, you know, looping around where I wanted them. And then on the pipe itself, I added an array modifier and then a curve modifier to follow the Bezier curve. But make sure to, some people mess this up. I messed this up my first time. Make sure that the curve modifier is below the array modifier, or else you're just gonna get this. It's gonna look really weird. So a lot of new people, make sure you have these modifiers in the correct order. You can see like these like little dots like over here. If you just drag this, you can move them in any order that you want. So yeah, just make sure to be careful of that. And with the stilts, it's literally just the exact same pipe, but just arrayed down. And I just did that multiple times for the kind of clutteriness, or is that even a word? For the buildings in the back, I had an image plane right here. It's barely noticeable in the final render, but it's just there to give it a little more brightness to it. Then the fog setup, I think, is I went for that more stylized look, so it's not as concentrated as the trans render. The trans render would be like around like here, but I went for the more stylized look, and it's in the middle right here at 483. And again, really low density, and it gives it a really nice very poppy glowy look. And then for the camera movement, I think what I did was I just made the camera, I literally just keyframed the camera to just move in a straight line, and that was that. But for as the camera looking around, I made it empty, a cube empty, and I made the camera track the cube. But for the cube actually rotating and looking around, what I did was I parented the cube to this giant circular empty right here. So instead of moving the cube, I just rotated the circle how I wanted it, so it would look up at the building like that. So that would kind of give it, this camera is looking up just like that. Again with the camera, I think, yeah, 27mm focal length, and I added again Ian Hubert's Shakeify add-on. Really great add-on to give it that shaky feel, and it made it look like the person or the camera was walking on the street with the people and looking up at the city. And then the next part was the people. The people was really easy. There's an add-on that I love using called Procedural Crowds. It's made by the same people that made the Procedural Signs add-on, so shout out to them. But I think what I did was, I think I literally just did follow curve, or maybe I think it was either follow curve or random walk. I think it was follow curve. Yeah, no, it was follow curve. Because these people are moving in one direction along the curve. This add-on has great customization here. You can make the crowd small, like width size. You can make them all go in one direction, left or right, it doesn't matter. You can mess with like the randomness of people, if they're moving in line or not. You can mess with the speed. You can mess with the the amount of people that are in the crowd as well. It's a great add-on for doing scenes like this. Next, for the wires, I think, what did I use for the wires? I think I used an add-on called GeoCables that I like to use, and GeoCables is awesome. You can turn an object like a plane, and it generates cables to every vertex that is on a plane. So you can see how that works. And while this is up, you can go to the modifiers and you can mess with all sorts of stuff. It's really fun add-on to play with, and you can get so much customization here. For this one though, however, I use the create edit cables, the first option right here. And what this does is wherever you, I think it's right click, wherever you right click, it will generate cables to that area. And then for example, I can click create edit right here and then left click anywhere and it generates cables just like that. Really cool stuff. And then after I'm done using it, I click right click to kind of get rid of it. I think it's right click, yeah, something like that. And then now that I have the cables up, I can mess with them as much as I like. I didn't want it to be too overwhelming, so I think I only did like a 3 count, like 4 count on the cables. And then when you click this button, the import connectors, it imports onto the cable, like these little like connector thingies. Really cool, really neat. Gives it more detail. And that's all I did for the wires. For these foreground elements, these are just again kit bash. I think this is the Cyberunk one. Now for the last part was the hologram people up here. There's like a spinning one there and right there. For that, I found a model online of this girl, of this woman, and it was really nice. I liked it, and then just positioned her how I wanted it. I'm not very good at animation, at least not yet. I'm working on it right now. But for this, it was just really easy. I just rotated her. Yeah, here's the model itself. Nothing too crazy, but yeah, I just rotated her where she's doing that. For the texture though, however, I did not do this. I used the Blender Kit add-on, and I think I just typed in hologram. And yeah, it was this one exactly. I used this one, and this one is really nice because it's animated. The texture moves. It's really cool. I don't know if I can show it right here. Oh yeah, you can see it. It like gets bright in some parts. Really cool animated. And I just did the exact same thing. And I just did the exact same thing for this lady right here. I forgot where I got her from. Got her from somewhere. But yeah, I just did the exact same thing. And then for the last part of this street scene was this add-on right here. This add-on is called Render Raw, or I think it's just called Render. You can find it on Blender Market. Actually, yeah, I have it up right here. This was the add-on that I got. I got the personal, just $25 one. And there's a whole lot of capabilities of it. Yeah, I think it's not as good as some other ones, but it gets me what I want. So I enabled that, and I think the only thing I messed with was, yeah, I cranked up the sharpening a little bit, the texture, the clarity, did not do the colors, kept everything else the same. The lens distortion I did mess with, and then dispersion. Dispersion kind of gives it that chromatic aberration effect you can see right here. So it looks really weird right there. I just cranked it up a little bit. It's very subtle, but it's there. And then the last part was the glare. It's basically just a glow effect, but it's in camera. Really nice. You can mess with the bloom too. Made it really bright and poppy. And then the last thing was the ghosting. The ghosting is kind of like, it kind of gives it like this lens flare effect. You can kind of see it right here. Let me see if I can point it out to you. Oh yeah, right here. This moving. Yeah, you can see it. Oh, yeah, right there. It's more noticeable right there. But that's the Render Raw add-on doing it right there. And I think that is it for this street view of YUKKURI City. Alright, and now for the hallway scene. Oh shoot, bro. Oh my god, there's so many missing textures. I never expected to do a tutorial on any of this, so I guess these were kit bash. These were from I think this is from the Cyber District kit bash, but I never expected to do a tutorial on them. So now I'm just missing a bunch of textures. I didn't delete them. I think I moved them to a different file, so that's why they're all missing. There's somewhere, but like most of the untextured stuff is literally just props, just placed around carefully where I wanted them to. Like for example, like this vending machine right here, like this one, or the trash right here. You know, the bike over there, some of the pipes up here. the lights and everything. So that's all the what the missing textures are. They're just the props. Nothing too crazy. You can make your own props or find props online all over the place. So they're not too hard to explain. But besides the props, anything without a missing texture is all custom made by me. So like the hallway, like this like hallway stopper part down here, the door, the light right here, these pipes up here as well, all these pipes right here, the graffiti I just found online, and then I gave it some grunge texture, really good. This really easy to make, and this right here was also really easy to make. I actually had fun making that. It's right here. Pretty low poly, nothing too crazy going on here. And then I think this is actually a photo scanned pipe that I found from Pixel Bridge. And same thing with this one. This was from textures.com. It was just a simple like fuse box texture, and then I made it look a little 3D. There are tons of tutorials online of how to do this. Maybe I'll do one if you guys really want that. I can show you how to make these type of props or like fuse boxes right here or other stuff like that. I did the same thing with the lights here. These are also custom made. I can show you how I made these if you want. Same with the doors. Door texture is really easy to make. As for the graffiti was pretty easy to do. I forgot what website it is, but you can literally just search up online just graffiti PNG, and there's tons and tons and tons of graffiti out there. But to kind of give it this worn out type of look that you can't really get anywhere else, you have to kind of make it yourself. So I'll use this one as an example behind this guy. It's really like, this is the entire setup right here. Like, it's super easy. So we just have the graffiti. So here's the graffiti itself. Really easy, really bland. But to give that texture kind of worn out feeling, all I did was I just found a concrete texture, and I put it into a color ramp and kind of mess with it a little bit. Whatever is black is not gonna show up, and whatever is white is gonna show up for me. And I combined both this image, the graffiti, with the concrete texture to get this worn out texture right here. And you can mess with this however, you can make it look as worn out as you want, and then just place it on a wall. Another thing that a lot of people don't remember to do, that it took me a while to figure out starting out, was for decals on the wall like this, always make sure to turn off shadow and the ray visibility. So you can go to the object, this little orange one right here, object properties, scroll down to visibility, the Dropbox visibility, go to ray visibility and turn off shadow. Just do that, and it will look a lot better, and there won't be like this underlying shadow underneath. It looked like it's actually placed on the wall. And then this door was also just from Kit Bash, but I moved the pivot point to the side of the door so I can rotate it in and out like that, how I want. And through the door, I made a stairway going up and down. And I think, yeah, it's on floor 29. This is not the text that I used in the final render though. Let me see. Wait, what text did I use? Oh yeah, this is just not even, this is straight up just not even the same text. I don't know what happened to the text I had before. It's really easy though. It's the exact same thing with the graffiti and making it look worn out. I just did the same thing. I just used the text thingy right here, put in the numbers that I wanted, and then made it look worn out. The stairway was actually a little difficult to make. So for the stairway, I just made one flight of stairs. It was really low poly, really easy to make. Like, this is all it is to it. Like, look at that. Look at that. It's so easy. Anyone can make this. It's really easy stairs. What was important about these stairs though was that I made sure that they were completely like even, like they were going to connect when I used an array modifier. So when I finally placed an array modifier, they connected easily, just like that. And I put an array modifier going up, another one going down, and then another array modifier going even more further up. And that's it for the stairs. For the stair railing, for the stairs, really easy modeling to do. Like, that's literally it right there. I can show a tutorial eventually on how to make stairs like this if you guys want. They're a little difficult to make, but I'm sure if you spend a lot of time on it, you can get the hang of it. But I did the exact same thing, added an array modifier going up, make sure that they were connected, array modifier going down, a bevel modifier to kind of give it, yeah, that, you know, because not all concrete isn't, you know, perfectly sharp like this, you know, gotta give it a little bit of a bevel. And then another array modifier going all the way up. And that is that for the railing. And then the stairway walls was really easy. It's really just a flat cube, just stretched super high up with a concrete texture applied to it. The textures were pretty easy to make. The railing was, I think, concrete image texture. It was just this one right here. And then I turned down the saturation on it. It used to be this color right here. I was like, no, I don't like it. So turn on the saturation. The stairs are actually a mix of two textures. So I think this is a dirt texture right here. Yeah, it's like a black dirt texture. And then the first texture is the actual concrete texture itself. And what I did was I used the ambient inclusion node. But what the ambient inclusion node does is that it makes a gradient of the corners. So anywhere where it's touching a corner, it's going to be either white or black, whatever you want it to be. And then as it gets further away from the corners, it turns into the opposite, whether it be white or black. And I use that as the mask for both textures. So I think all the white here in this situation would be the dirt texture, and all the black would be the actual concrete texture. And I put those into a mix shader here, put the ambient inclusion into the factor. Here you can see it better here actually. So all this bumpiness right here along the wall, along this corner right here, this is all the dirt texture. And as it gets further away, it turns into the concrete texture. So it gives it just that little extra realness to it. I can give a tutorial too on how to do that. It's really simple setup. So for the stairway at the bottom, I just put a red light, and at the top I did opposite, did a blue light up there. Very easy stuff. It's really just an emission plane. Like that's all it is. There's nothing special going on up there. Now for the camera movement, moving on to the camera movement, this was a little harder to do because I needed the keyframe exactly where I wanted my camera to slow down. So the camera would be moving, and then when it gets to the middle of this hallway, I slowed down the camera movement so it kind of looks both directions. And then I made the camera move down this hallway. So good. It's literally just moving in a straight line. It's nothing really special. It's the shakiness is the camera Shakeify add-on, the Ian Humor one. And then I timed it correctly. I timed the door opening correctly with when the camera hits the door. Just like that. And then comes out here, slows down so it doesn't peek over the edge. And then looks down. And then made the camera follow the empty to look up. So that's it for the camera movement. It's literally just a straight line. It's just moving from here to here, but I made it slow down at the parts where I wanted it to slow down. And as for the camera looking around, it's looking at this cube back here. It's just following the cube. Again, using the track to camera object constraint. I just tracked it to the empty cube, and I keyframed the cube to move exactly how I wanted it, and really just the camera Shakeify add-on just made it look more natural. Like the cube itself looks so wonky moving around like that. Oh my god. So for the people, it's just this procedural crowds add-on again, but instead of placing a crowd, you can place individual people. So like I can pick like right here, and then I want this guy in my scene, and I want him to be low poly instead of high poly, so you can choose that. And you can have them doing sitting, cheering, a whole bunch of stuff, and then it adds a person in there. And I think when you click on the person, you can add animation, use existing, sure, and it makes the person move just like that. And it's really nice, really easy, low poly, doesn't take up a whole lot. This guy right here, I just made him, instead of the idle, I just made him walking standard. for the TV screens right here, there's some here and then also at the beginning right here. You barely even see it in the final render right there. Like it's barely, you can barely see it moving. But it was really, I think online, I searched up on YouTube like creepy like black eye moving around. Like this is like a famous video on YouTube. But yeah, I just put it into the TV screen, and since it's a video, I don't need to do any animating. It does it for me, and it looks pretty good. And I think that is it for the hallway scene. If there's anything you want to know more, comment below, and I'll try to answer to the best of my ability of how I did something, or what I didn't explain, or stuff like that. All right, and now for the final one, the aerial shot of the rooftop. So for this one, I actually made a custom building a while ago of this one. Really low poly, really easy to make, but you never see the image. I like the long roof part right here, and I just got a little idle guy from the Procedural crowds add-on, made him idle at the front of it, you know, nothing crazy. But the camera has a pretty high focal length at 28, and it follows this Bezier curve right here, follows it all the way out here. I don't think it actually reaches all the way out there though. Yeah, it only gets around like here, so like all of this is kind of like for nothing. But I also have the camera locked on to this circle object, the circle empty, I mean. So it's pretty much the same setup as like the past renders that I've showed, except this time it just goes over the edge. Okay, so one of these is different. So this one is for the depth of field for the camera, and this one is the actual looking around movement. It looks down into the city, and you get that city view shot, and yeah, it just moves around. The depth of field one that I was talking about earlier, where was it? This one right here. This one I have the camera tracked to, so it's tracked to that empty way over there. So it's really it doesn't even show it in the final render, I don't even think, but it's basically supposed to show that the depth of field is focused on this guy. Then as the camera gets closer, the depth of field goes further to where it's not blurry anymore. But I don't think it even really shows. Honestly, I don't think anything would change if I took it out either. But here we go. We got the material view right here. So a lot of this is custom assets that I made. For like this background city over here, I've seen this method used a couple times before, but I mainly took this from Lazaro on his Patreon. He has a tutorial on how to do this, but there's an add-on, Blossom or BLSM. But basically all you can, like, what it allows you to do is you can click select, and it opens up the Google map. You can pick a random place in the world where you can go to, like, I don't know, like Turkey, let's say. You show selection, and then when you copy these coordinates and you bring them in here and you paste them in here, you can turn off all this stuff because you don't need water in it, or forest, or vegetation, or whatever. All you really need is roads and buildings. When you click import, it gives you a flat kind of just city that you can mess with. I think this one is New York City, if I believe, and it gave me all these buildings to work with. And then with that, I just textured the buildings really simply. As you can see, the windows aren't even aligning with the windows of the building, so it looks messy, but no one even notices it. It's good. It makes do. It makes do. Here is the texture that I used. It was this one, high-rise residential. For all the building textures on textures.com, there's a whole bunch of different options. I just picked the grungiest looking ones. I think I picked like one of these ones, like down here. I picked like one of these ones. And I have like three different textures going on here. So that's what I got going on. And then for the windows from the same website, if you just type in high rise, you can just find a whole bunch of different window images here. For this one, I just used this one right here, and I plugged it into the emission color And then with the color ramp, I made you know, some blue colors going on here. And with that, I was able to make the windows all over it. And that just kind of fills in the empty areas that I kind of don't see or that I forget about, like down here. You can kind of see it like a little down here. Doesn't really show too much. And then next, this foreground building I made myself. It was really fun to make. I like making these type of buildings. They're very fun. Same with this one. Made this one myself. The sign was made using the Procedural signs add-on. Yeah, I used the neon one for this type of like icon of like a sushi restaurant, I guess, or something like that. So what I used to make those type of neon signs, I go to this website called defont.com, and you can, what I did is I went to like Asian dingbats. Yeah, the dingbats section on here, and there's a whole bunch of different like things you can use. Like, I don't remember which one. I think I used like one of these ones. Either this one or like a different one. So I'll download this one right here. And you can just extract it to like any folder. You can extract it to any folder you want. So you have it on your computer, the Asian food text. And then in Blender, you can open up the file in the Procedural signs add-on with the neon sign option. If you click the little file option, and you find where you stored that right here, the Asian food regular, it will show up on there. Everyone's different. Like, I think the A one, yeah, this one's like noodles. If I type in like tea, this one kind of looks like dumplings. I don't know what that one is. U, I don't know what U is. Oh, that's like a little teapot. That's cute. But I think in this one I used B. I think, yeah, I used B. And I used this one, the Korean icons regular, and it gave me this little neon sign here, and it looks nice. And with the neon signs add-on, you can go to animation, and I think you can put on like text animation. Yeah, there's like 3 different ones, something like that. But by default it's on 0, so it's just kind of like stagnant, like always constant, always on neon sign. But if you put it on 1, it lights up, it flashes. Like you can see it in use in the final render, like the neon sign flashing. Looks good right there. And that is what I did for this one right here too. You just get Asian characters online, and same with this lady over here and the bunny bar sign. Just made it flash. Got the dingbats from defont.com, and that's what I just did for those. And this sign right here is also Procedural signs. I think I used the big screen. Yeah, I used the big screen option. And I found this video from pexels.com, that stock video website I showed earlier. For the far back area for this building right here specifically, I have this video of like Asian text characters like going down, kind of like the Matrix. It was really cool. I forgot where I found it. It's probably from the same website, honestly. Just made it fit the building, and then we just made it blue, and it works perfectly there. This sign right here, I used Asian characters, and then I turned it into a mesh. I gave it kind of like this hologram kind of feel to it. I think actually this is an array modifier. Yeah, it is. Yeah, so I just turned it into a mesh, and then I gave it the billboard kind of hologram texture to it. And then with the array modifier, I try to make it 3D, but a lot of people don't know this. Another tip here, if you try to use the array modifier to make it like text like this, look 3D, it's gonna look like this, and like no one wants that. Turn off relative offset and turn on constant offset instead. That's what kind of gives it this 3D kind of look to it. As you can see, it looks really, really cool that way. So it's just flat like that, and constant offset looks like that, and you can make it however thick you want it. And then for this girl down here, same thing. You got it from that one website, gave it that billboard hologram look, and it looks nice there. Nothing really much else to explain there. For the highways at the bottom down here, these are from Lazaro's Patreon. He has these in his Patreon. You can go subscribe to it and get this asset, and it works perfectly. It works great. The dots just move along this curve of the highway. It looks really cool that way. And I added multiple highways here and there. So, and then the last part was like these, well, it's like 2 more parts, was like these like moving lights right here. I kind of wanted these to be like cars, but in the final render, they kind of don't look like that. They kind of just look like weird lights just moving across the screen. But it's really just a plane with a texture plugged into the color to make it, and then the color ramp to make it blue, and then that same texture plugged into the alpha, and it gives it like this weird thingy. I could give a tutorial on how to do this. It's not that hard, really easy. To make it move, I just made it move on the whatever axis I wanted it to move on, and just made it move in one direction. And then these things right here, like the top of these building things, I bought a pack online a while ago, and I just kind of gave it this like dirty metal texture, and then I just made it fit to the building how I wanted it to. It doesn't show up too much in the final render, but it gives a lot of detail. In the render, you could see like a giant like city back there with like spotlights moving left and right and stuff. I used to have that. It was a video of like a city, but I used to have it and then I deleted it. I don't know where it went. It's somewhere deep in my computer. But I'm just using this as a placeholder. But you can literally get any city and then scale it down to kind of fit the background, and it kind of fills in that dark area back there. So you don't have to do too much work. You don't have to make the city extend all the way out here. Just add an image plane, make it black, make it colorful, and it does the job. For the spotlights, unlike the trance one, I actually use 3D spotlights, and I made the power like super strong, like 5 gigawatts. Holy moly. And it's really easy. Just made it sway back and forth along one pivot point, and I think I did it like 3 times. So the spotlights are moving in the back. Yeah, you can see it right there. And then yeah, I think that's really about it. Oh my gosh. Okay, I just opened up the DaVinci file, and oh my gosh, it's missing so much stuff. I should not have deleted that folder or moved it or whatever I did with it. Oh my gosh, this is so bad. Man, I can't really show the sound effects now. Oh my god, oh my god. Well, at least I can show what I put on the screen. So yeah, with this final composite, I got the street view, the hallway right here, and then the final air view. I put a dirt overlay first on color dodge. It's like this kind of bokeh kind of like lens dirt I put on top. You can kind of see it like right there. There you go. You can see it a lot better. And then I put another dirt texture on top. This one you can't really see too well. You can kind of see it more right here. It kind of gives like a little like scratching, like lens scratches on top of that. So there's 2 layers of lens dirt and stuff, and then the final layer is just grain, the same grain that I used in the past ones, and that's just stretched across the entire thing. And then I think in color grading, so for the color grading, I'm not a professional color grading. I watched like one tutorial like a year ago, and I literally just took like the first 5 minutes of that and I stored it in my brain. But each one of these nodes is just for one of these things to be changed. Like I think this one, yeah, this one's for like the mid detail. This one's for the tint and saturation and temperature. No, this one's for color boost. This one's for shadows, I think. This one's for highlights. To sum it up, all I did is I tweaked the colors to make the blue more bright, a little more saturated, and all that stuff, more detail. That's really all I did for this one. One of these days I'll make a tutorial on how I make these type of renders, and I'll go in depth on what I'm doing for the color grading. Man, I wish I could show you the sound effects that I add on here, because I spent so much time on the sound effects. Like, it was so well made. But yeah, that's I'm sorry, I'm not a professional at giving tutorials, so this might be a little long or a little short or missing some things. But if you have any questions, just feel free to comment, and I'll try to stay consistent with Blender and stuff. So stay tuned, guys. And again, thank you for all the support and all the exposure I've been getting. Like, it's really a blessing. I never thought I'd actually get this far, but here I am. So again, thank you guys.